2, 3.
Hey guys, welcome to the channel and I hope you're having an amazing day. So today I'm going to be showing you how to install and set up the Camlink 4K. It's not that hard to install it or set it up on your computer, but some people have had a few issues here and there how to actually get it working with OBS. So let's get into it. So once you have managed to open the package, you get the Camlink 4K in it and also a USB 3 extender with it. The USB extender, it took me a little while to understand why it was included in the package, but then understood that, hey, the Camlink is actually pretty wide, and you might actually block some of the USB ports behind the computer. So in my situation, I had multiple USB ports close to each other, and once I connected the Camlink 4K in one of the USB ports, it might have actually blocked the other USB ports for usage. In my situation, my motherboard actually has one external USB that is actually disconnected from the other ones. So in my situation, I can actually connect the Camlink directly to my motherboard without the cable. But in some situation, you might actually have to use the cable, but I haven't noticed any delays with it. So it doesn't really matter in those situations at all. It's just a little bit cleaner to connect it directly. So once you're ready with the unboxing, connect your Camlink to your computer and make sure there's a little LED light that actually lights up. Connect your HDMI cable to your Camlink and make sure that you bought the right cable for your camera. For example, the Camlink doesn't come with a HDMI connector at all. You have to buy one separately. I bought a 2-meter one and it works perfectly with my GoPro and my Sony A6400. Just make sure that your camera has the right cable. After this, you can navigate to the Elgato's website, and from there you can just go to the downloads, and from there you just scroll down and you can find 4K capture utility for Windows. I have Windows 10 64-bit, and that's the version that I'm going to download, the 1.6.3. Just make sure that your computer is going to download the file, and after that you can install it straight away without any problems and hassle, and just accept, of course, all the forms and just go through the setup like you would go with any other setup out there, pretty much. That's a little bit confusing, but yeah. After the setup is finished, you are done, and your computer and OBS finally will detect the Elgato 4K. And after you have installed the program, you can actually open it up, and from there you can actually see straight away what your cam looks like when it's connected to your computer the correct way. My GoPro doesn't have a clean output for the HDMI port, but for example, my Sony A6400, there's a setup that you can have a clean output, and I'm going to show you what it looks like in a second. Even with the GoPro, I think there's a firmware setting that you can download and install, and it cleans up the HDMI output, and it looks pretty good. And that's pretty much it. Just make sure that the current setups are on your GoPro so you don't get any black borders, and with that it will be ready for you to use or record or whatever you're planning to do with it. Alright, so after you have actually installed everything, now let's show you how to actually get the camera in front of the screen. So for example, if you're using OBS, how you want to set up the camera is pretty much just going to the sources menu, choosing add, and from here you just push video capture device. For example, already I have you, in your situation you are going to create a new one, but for me I already have one existing, and it's the video capture device 2. I also have an Elgato on my computer, so don't confuse that with the Camlink. The Elgato is actually the HD60 Pro capture card for my gaming PC. For example, what's happening on its screen is going to be shown on the streaming PC over here. But this is not what I'm going to click. It's going to be the Camlink from here. And the setups, hello, it already works. That's pretty cool. And the setups are pretty easy. You don't really have to do anything that crazy. So make sure from your cameras menu you have set up a clean HDMI input. So now I'm going to show you how to actually get a clean output. For example, if you have a Sony A6400, you pretty much just open your camera, go to the menu, and from here you see the little tab with the suitcase here. It's at setup 4, and for me it's automatically in the HDMI setup. So I'm gonna show you how to actually navigate here differently. For example, if you start from here, you just come over here, you click this button, and from here you go to the setup screen number 4. You already see HDMI settings here. It also sets 4K output select. I'm not entirely sure how you access that, but I think you have to select 4K for it to actually show in 4K. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but for me here, it says HDMI info display, which actually means that when you have a HDMI port to monitor, or for example to the Camlink 4K, it's not going to show all of this excess screen that you usually get on the info screen. That it pretty much just shows this clean, well, a little bit more cleaner than this, that it doesn't have any of the f-stops or anything like that. So it's just entirely clean output that you get. And you just set it up from here, info display, and of course it's on, or off, sorry, actually off. That's what you want it to be on. These other settings, you can try them out for yourself. All of the cams don't actually have that. For example, my Nikon D3200 doesn't really have that, so that's why I'm not using it. And to be honest, this is a really low class DSLR anyways. It's good for pictures, but not good for video. So when you are going to buy the Camlink, make sure that you understand what you're doing and that your camera that you're using is good enough for it. There is a list of cams in the Elgato site for the Camlink, and there's actually a good list that shows which cameras are good for it and which cameras actually have a clean HDMI output. I'm not entirely sure for with some of the firmware updates you can actually get rid of them too, but I don't suggest that, and I'm not going to recommend anything like that here because I have no absolute idea how to do it. But for example, another thing that you'll want to do is make sure that you have a movie mode on the camera, because for example, I used it on this mode. So when you have the cam set up and everything connected to the DSLR, whatever cam you're actually using, and everything is good with the computer, don't get worried at the first sight of the quality. It might look really bad, and to be honest, there's a really good reason for it too. So for example, at the moment I have it on manual. Pretty much I use this camera for shooting pictures too. And when I come inside of my house, I actually use it as a cam or just a video recording device. That's pretty much what it is. So you want, for example, when you have the HDMI cable connected to your cam and it's directly connected to the Camlink 4K, you want to have your cam, actually your DSLR, on movie mode. The difference is going to be astonishing. Pretty much, and it's actually going to get rid of the black bars too, so check this out. And that's pretty much the difference. You see the black bars are actually out at the moment, you don't see them on the feed, and you get a crisp full 4K at the moment without any of the inputs or anything like that. It actually looks pretty good, and this is what I use to record, for example, the intro is recorded with this setup straight from OBS at the moment. Pretty much the only thing I did was change the OBS video settings for what I'm using, and I'm going to show them to you now. Pretty much open your settings tab, and depending on what you're about to do, for example, if you're going to stream, you don't really have to do anything that crazy. You just have everything at the settings that they are for what you're normally using to stream. What I'm doing at the moment, I'm recording in 4K. So from the video settings, I came to the base canvas and just set the resolution to what it's supposed to be, and the output is scaled to 1:1 at the moment, so it's not rescaling or doing anything crazy like that. If you want to have full HD, for example, recorded, just set everything to full HD, and from your cam the settings to full HD. But also, if you want to have that 4K compressed, you can also compress it here, however you want to do it. My Lanco downscale filtering is actually on Lanco's 36 samples, and my FPS value is 30 because my 4K is actually being recorded on 30 FPS. From the output, I pretty much selected recording, and I'm doing this on standard. This is your recording folder. You can change that. You don't have to change it depending on where you want your videos to land. Recording format for me is MP4, and I have two audio tracks. These are actually for other things. For example, at the moment, I have my A6400's microphone set up here, and also my SM7B that I'm using at the moment. The voice that you're hearing is actually coming from the SM7B, sorry. And I'm using the NVDA encoding to H.264, the new version. And pretty much these are my settings. I have rate control is on VBR. Bitrate is 40,000 and max bitrate is 60,000. And of course my keyframe interval is 2. Preset is on max performance. My older graphics card is not that powerful anymore. It can't actually handle high quality, but the quality that you get actually output on your computer is going to be amazing anyways, even if it's on max performance. Profile is on main, and look ahead is adjusted, and psycho-visual tuning. To be honest, I'm not even sure entirely what these are, but they look good. That's pretty much what I'm using. GPU 0 and max buffered frames are 2. And that's pretty much it. What I'm using at the moment, it's not that incredible. You can use your own setups, of course. If you have your own, you use those. If you have your own streaming setups, these are not my streaming setups. I usually have CBR and 6000 here, and keyframe is usually on 2 because Twitch requires that. My processor is a little bit faster than the most. I can use faster, or medium. Medium lags for me a little bit because I'm running other things while I'm streaming on a computer. And profile is on main. I have no tuning and no separate options for the X264 encoder. And that's pretty much what you need to do. That's it. It's simple, works, and the quality is just phenomenal. And this actually makes your workflow a lot more easier to understand and to work on. For example, if you have a shot that you have, for example, let's say you're making a tutorial where you have a Steadicam and you're not going to move this camera at all. You can have it always stationary, and all of the files are actually going straight to your computer, and you can record them in great quality. And also have, for example, a microphone attached to also have your microphone sound attached to that file too. For example, I have no way to connect this camera. I have no way to connect this microphone to the camera at the moment, so I'm pretty much have it connected on my mixer, which is connected to my computer, and the cam is actually connected to my computer via the Camlink. And with that, I can actually get everything in one file, and from there I get to, for example, edit it in Premiere, whatever you want to use. And that's pretty much it. It's a little bit of an awkward tutorial, sorry. But hopefully you guys understand what I've showed you right there. And remember, if you have any problems, I pretty much run into every issue there is. If you have any problems or issues, just hit them up on the chat box below. I will be sure to answer everything, and hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial and have a good time. Remember to subscribe to the channel. I will be doing a lot more content from now on, and more reviews, more gameplay videos, and everything like that. We'll see what happens, okay? Thank you. Have a good day, and bye-bye.